Hey guys, welcome to our channel. We are back with today's interesting video of the myth that reptilian people exist and are controlling over the world. Is that true? Let's find out in this video. In science fiction, fantasy, ufology, and conspiracy theories, reptilians, also known as riptides, archons, reptiloids, saurian, draconian, or lizard people, are thought to be reptilian humanoids. David Icke, a conspiracy theorist who contends that shape-shifting reptile aliens rule Earth by adopting human form and obtaining political power to subvert human society, is credited with spreading the subject of reptilians. Icke has claimed several times that many world leaders are reptilians or are under their control. The lizard people idea claims that savage reptile aliens first came to Earth in the distant past. Since then, these aliens have been interbreeding with humans and fusing with them through the manipulation of DNA. The purpose of this procedure was to take control of the globe by acquiring positions of authority, such as those held by monarchs, prominent politicians, well-known artists, etc. This belief is held by about 4% of Americans. Icke has authored a number of books in which he offers proof and additional justification. With a consistent number of adherents still around today, this hypothesis appears to have peaked in popularity in the early 2000s. If this hypothesis were accurate, an elite class of shape-shifting reptiles would be controlling the human species. This claim is intriguing, yet it seems improbable. History. According to Syracuse University political science professor Michael Burkun, Robert E. Howard's short tale The Shadow Kingdom, which appeared in Weird Tales in August 1929, is where the concept of a reptile conspiracy first appeared. The Secret Doctrine by Helena Blavatsky, which was published in 1888, and made discussion of dragon men, who once had a mighty civilization on a Lemurian continent, had a significant effect on theosophical conceptions of the lost worlds of Atlantis and Lemuria. Howard's serpent men have been described as humanoids that could impersonate people at will, lived in tunnels, and infiltrated society using their shape-shifting and mind control powers. The Cthulhu mythos was created by Clark Ashton Smith, Howard, and H.P. Lovecraft. Smith incorporated Howard's serpent men and motifs from Lovecraft in his novels. The serpent race was reported in the 1940s pamphlet Mysteries of the Gobi by Morris Doriel, who had bodies like man but heads like a great snake and the capacity to transform into a human shape. Additionally, these beings were mentioned in Doriel's poem The Emerald Tablets, which was about emerald tablets created by Thoth, an Atlantean priest king. According to Burkun, in all likelihood the Shadow Kingdom is where Doriel got his inspiration from, and the Emerald Tablet served as the foundation for David Icke's book, Children of the Matrix. According to historian Edward Gimmont, the Mogul Mbembe and Great Zimbabwe pseudo-historical stories were notably created during the conquest of Africa and were the inspiration for the reptilian conspiracy hypothesis, especially as it was put out by Icke. There have been reports of reptile contact in alien abduction stories. Herbert Skirmer, an Ashland, Nebraska police officer, was one of the first to describe seeing a UFO. While under hypnosis, he recalled being brought on board by humanoids with a somewhat reptilian look who were wearing a winged serpent symbol on the left side of their chest in 1967. His statements are thought to be a scam by doubters. David Icke Theory. In his 1999 book The Biggest Secret, British conspiracy theorist David Icke pointed out that a worldwide plot against humanity is being led by Thoth, blood-drinking, transforming reptilian humanoids from the Alpha Draconis star system, who are presently hiding in underground bases. He claims that the majority of the world's historic and contemporary rulers, such as the Rothschild family, the Bush family, and the British royal family, are descended from these reptilians. Icke has delivered talks to audiences of up to 6,000 people, and his conspiracy theories have adherents in as many as 47 different nations. Icke's conspiracy idea was listed among the top 10 conspiracy theories by American author Vicky Santillano. According to a 2013 public policy polling survey of Americans, 2.8% of registered voters agreed with David Icke's beliefs. Recognizing the lizard people who live among us is a straightforward approach to demonstrate the presence of lizard people. The article How to Spot the Reptilians Running the U.S. Government by Philip Bump offers a handy list of traits, including low blood pressure, sporadic scars, a deep passion for science and space, green, hazel, or blue eyes, and more. Additional proof is available in the form of video, where slowing down or stopping can occasionally show glimpses of people shapeshifting. The crew at Inverse, however, points out that this shapeshifting is actually a glitch or compression artifact, something that frequently happens when using VHS cassettes. Nevertheless, the idea is supported by other data. The Top 10's channel, for instance, examines Icke's discoveries of references to lizard people in biblical passages, such as the snake enticing Eve into eating the fruit, the Nephilim mating with humans, and Satan's description as a serpent or dragon-like monster. This worldview appears to be heavily influenced by Icke's readings of biblical scriptures. It would be simple for Icke to link these sentences to his hypothesis because they were initially quite unclear. It may be argued that this is an incorrect interpretation of the evidence due to confirmation bias in this instance. As a result, those who are exposed to the theory's supporters' evidence are misinformed. The aforementioned video glitch that gives individuals the appearance that they are shapeshifting is another illustration of how something might be misinterpreted. Politics. In a press release distributed by the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario on September 12, 2003, during the provincial vote campaign in Ontario, Canada, in order to discredit Dalton McGuinty, the opposition leader of the Ontario Liberal Party at the time, the phrase "evil reptilian kitten eater of another planet" was put in use. Al Franken, a comedian and political commentator, and incumbent Senator Norm Coleman engaged in a tight race for the U.S. Senate in Minnesota in 2008. Coleman contested one of the ballots that showed Franken receiving a vote while also writing lizard people in the write-in candidate field. Lucas Davenport, who subsequently claimed credit for coming up with the gag ballot, stated, "I don't know if you've recognized the conspiracy theory about the lizard meat. A buddy of mine and I didn't like the candidates, so we were first going to type in revolution, since we thought it was excellent and direct. The lizard people would then be even more hilarious, we decided." The comedian Louis C.K. humorously inquired about the former Secretary of Defense of the United States, Donald Rumsfeld, and former Vice President, Dick Cheney, on the Opie and Anthony radio program in February 2011. Rumsfeld's ironic unwillingness to provide a clear response amused C.K., who hypothesized that it may be an admission of guilt. He continued by speculating that possibly individuals who are lizard people cannot pretend to be such. Instead, they must either refuse to answer the question or answer in the affirmative. A Wired article on shape-shifting reptilian humanoids featured a video of a security officer with peculiar characteristics protecting a speech by U.S. President Barack Obama on March 4, 2013. Caitlin Hayden, head of the National Security Council's press office, responded with a tongue-in-cheek statement saying that any alleged program to guard the president with aliens or robots would probably have needed to be scaled back or abolished in the sequester. Typical Americans are the major supporters of this belief system. It is simple to harbor mistrust for individuals in positions of authority since they have no significant influence on the government or the economy. This is particularly true when those in power do something wrong or if the believers don't like them. Additionally, believers are encouraged by the lack of social opposition. People can feel justified in believing in the lizard people notion given the prevalence of conspiracy theories in general. Confirmation bias plays a significant role in the lizard people theory's propagation, since Icke has been able to bend the data in his favor. Those who have become committed to Icke's viewpoint have also honed their capacity to pick out supportive data from hazy sources. A drive to create structure from chaos may also be related to this belief system. Linking our current world leaders to a particular group makes it simpler to explain how they came to hold such positions of authority. The believers may feel comforted by this procedure because they can picture themselves having control over the leaders as a result of knowing the leader's real identity. The lizard people notion is not as well known as other theories, it should be mentioned. Icke supporters may thus be driven by a desire to stand out from the crowd. Given these facts, it is understandable why the lizard people idea has so many people interested. That was all from my side for today's video. If you find our videos interesting, please support us by liking and subscribing to our channel.